Good morning, everybody. Welcome to LOCPOD, your favorite relief from crappy radio.
Even though we're not radio.
Yes.
You're relief from crappy radio.
Right. We're free of charge, which is another huge advantage. And of course,
you can tune in, download, like, share, sponsor.
For free. I mean,
not sponsor for
it's
free.
Incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible. Like when you think about it, like you're listening to this right now and you're not paying $6 a month.
And thank you for doing that.
And that's huge for you. I mean,
appreciate
let's be
all
honest.
of you.
Like it's going to save you $72 on the average annually by listening to our show.
Every one of you.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate
it. Sounds like a Geico commercial.
That's right. If you listen to us every day and not listen to our competition where they're charging you $6 a month, you will save $72
50 cents a day or whatever it adds up to.
Right. Of course, you get what you pay for with
Less
us.
than that.
And we are huge in Belgium. So welcome to LOCPOD.
Yeah, 20 cents a day. I'm sorry. Bad math.
Hey, I heard that there's a possibility that we're doing interviews with people that live in Belgium. Is this true?
We're working on it.
That's interesting.
We have a correspondent that happens to be in Northern Europe, so we're going to see if we can.
I think this correspondent should don his LOCPOD gear and
he gets out of the bar and heads out into the street to talk to people.
Hit the streets and say, of course, you know the locomotive and the caboose and LOCPOD. No,
I'm sure they'll all be like,
"Oh yeah, LOCPOD,
my favorite podcast."
Of course.
Why are we not going to Belgium?
I agree.
Good question.
I think.
I tried.
Yeah, we tried.
I found great flights, man.
They have bad Wi-Fi. That's what I heard.
Sure,
we didn't want to be embarrassed in Belgium.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to come live. Plus the time.
Why are you here?
The time difference would really screw with us. You know, I'm really cranky when I'm off my sleep pattern.
Well, welcome to season 3, episode 26. How many is that in total?
87.
Did you say
ish?
Didn't you say there was some kind of anniversary today?
Yeah, you're my friend-versary on Facebook.
I didn't get it, by the way.
We had our friend-versary. I was waiting for like flowers or something.
I wish I would have known.
I got nothing
knocked down.
It's bullshit.
How long?
Written down.
12 years.
Wow.
We've been friends way longer than that, but obviously
according to Facebook, that's
when Kevin became on Facebook. I imagine when you.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because I think I probably ventured into social media before you.
Yeah, Facebook for sure. Twitter, I was first, and then you got
my hand into Twitter.
Yeah,
yeah. You let me into
here.
Twitter,
we are.
Twitter sphere.
12 years later.
Yeah. So now I'm miserable like the rest of us. I was
you were saved from
people
Twitter.
On Twitter are so mean.
They can be. I like Twitter more for the people I follow, not necessarily for interaction.
I like the comments I get back that call me asshole, stupid, dumb,
See,
ugly, fat. You know,
that's the difference between you and me on Twitter, because you have thousands of people that follow you, and I have like nobody that follows me. So I just do it for the content. I guess that's why I like Twitter.
Yeah.
You have to deal with replies and DMs and all those things.
Yeah.
Like,
at first I like you, F you, dummy, fat dummy.
You're an
stupid.
Asshole.
Yeah,
how did anyone ever elect you?
Yeah. Dumbest mayor ever, worst mayor ever.
Those are fun, I bet.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's really
kind of
good.
like Mailbag.
It's really good for the ego. Yeah.
So you're saying the ratio of
like Mailbag
criticism on Twitter versus Facebook it's not even close.
Well, I've already banned a lot of people on Facebook, so yeah.
There's nothing better than blocking people on Facebook.
I agree with you, and that's controversial. There's another lawsuit that was filed by the ACLU against
Trump.
No, it's a.
I didn't see this one.
I want to say it might have been an elected official in Indiana.
Wow.
Whoa.
I mean, the thing is, honestly, like, and you know how I feel about this issue is that's my personal Facebook page. I have a Tom McDermott mayor page. And I have personal
and you have
Facebook.
A
Go Hammond, which is obviously you could call me whatever you want on that one, and they do.
At it.
And they do. And it's got tons of followers, and it's got its own chat.
Got more
universe,
followers,
right?
25,000.
Way more than I do.
Hammond,
and I got my own personal Facebook page where mommy and daddy, you know, are my friends, and they see how people feel about me, and I'll have people go on there and call me MF and like. You know, give me like the middle finger.
Happy birthday,
like,
Mayor.
It's on my Facebook
Go after
page.
yourself.
I'm like, screw you, buddy. And then I block them, right? Because that's my personal Facebook page. You want to do that crap, go to the freaking official page. Don't do it where mom and dad and, you know, my kids are on there, right? So then people are like, you can't block people from your personal Facebook page. And I was like, well, I did. Like, well, that's against the law.
Complain about me on my official page.
I don't really agree that it's against the law. I think there's a difference. I offer two different versions. I have the official, the one where you can MF me, and then I have the personal, the one where mommy and daddy and my kids are on it, right?
Right, but you also put issues on that page too. But those are your like anybody else,
right?
Are you
my lawyer or are you prosecuting me here?
I'm both, I guess, in this situation. But
I mean, Kevin.
like anybody does. I'm just saying like anybody
slap
does.
the cuffs on there, big guy.
Well, no, what I was going to say is that it's not just like, you know, everybody puts issues, or a lot of people put issues on their Facebook.
Right.
It's not just, I think what you've argued, like, just because I put an issue up there
right.
doesn't mean this isn't my personal viewpoint or personal page.
Like, honestly, like, let's say I'm friends with Mike Pence.
Sure.
Right? And I put on Mike Pence's page, you're lackey for Trump and you suck. And, like, it's stuff that I strongly feel, right? And Pence is like, why the hell am I friends with McDermott? He blocks me. Get the hell off my page. This is my personal page. You want to do that stuff, go to Mike Pence checkmark, right? I mean, honestly, I feel strongly about this.
When's your friend-iversary with Mike Pence?
0 days.
Still working on it.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, good. Happy friend.
That's an interesting because I get that a lot.
Say it.
People are like, you can't do that, Mayor. And it's like, well, it's a sort of an unexplored area of the law. So
I would agree with that.
Right.
All right. So we're here, season 3, episode 26. What do you got? We got to go. Are we going right to mailbag?
We got mailbag. We're suddenly getting a lot more mail. I've noticed this.
John.
Mailbag.
It's great when you get
nice
a lot of mail,
voice.
and it gives us things to talk about. We do still have crappy letters, I have to say. They're still rolling in. One from Evansville, Indiana.
Today, right?
Extremely crappy.
All right.
I noticed the further south in Indiana I go, the more...
We have friends down there. We had Jonathan on.
Yeah, but like it seems to me like a lot of my problems, like problem children,
like
the ones that protested at my house.
Yes.
Southern
Indiana.
And then you're going to see this letter today.
Was it Southern Indiana Republic? Something.
Yeah.
I know. It was
Young conservatives.
Yeah, conservatives from Southern
right.
Indiana.
It seems like the further south in Indiana I go, the more problems I have with people. Like, they don't like me.
You have to change their...
Like, basically, when I get down by Louisville, it's extreme hatred.
Change their ways, man. Although I will tell you, it seems like when you're in French Lick, you got a lot of friends.
Of course, because
Yes.
we drive from all over the state to go to French Lake. I have friends. I could transport my friends southern, and that would be fine, right?
Then you're like popular.
If I
Like,
just
look
meet-
at all these friends from Northern Indiana.
If I artificially meet people from southern Indiana, it's a different story.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, we'll find out.
All right. Well, anyway.
When I run statewide,
That's
we'll
right.
find out.
After the boxing.
When
match.
I'm
potential
taking
voters.
on U.S. senator, you know what I'm saying?
After
And I
you
go
decide.
statewide. I know. Like
Breaking
I'm still
news.
I'm still
back-
waiting. I'm still
deciding.
waiting for the yes or no from the young camp. By the way,
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that he's dodging me.
Maybe he's like, why would I do a celebrity boxing match?
He's probably like, the guy will beat me down, and it would be embarrassing. I'm sure Todd Young's thinking about it. He's looking at me like, whoa.
Maybe he's sizing you up.
Listen, man. Like, honestly, he's got me by 4 years younger-ish. I got him by about 30 pounds heavier, and it's all muscle. Like, we all agree on that.
That's obvious.
Right?
You
So,
can
like,
see
I
that.
got 30 pounds of muscle on him. He's thinking about that. He's thinking. I know he is.
That's a good photo. That's
His
good.
people are like,
good
"Don't-"
camera shot, John.
His people are doing it like, don't do it, Senator. McDermott's a beast. He will pound you in front of
I'm sure there's somebody in his camp that's like, you could kick his ass.
I'm sure he's saying that. He's a jarhead.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't mean to call you a jarhead, Senator. He's a senator jarhead. Yeah. So
At least if you use the title first, you
That's
can do
right.
it.
It's-
Like you could say like mayor.
I'm allowed
mayor
to say jarhead.
asshole or something like
I'm
that.
allowed to say jarhead. I was abused by Marines my whole career.
That's right.
Yeah.
You'd say it lovingly.
I went to dive school with 80% recon Marines. They were awesome. I loved them.
Wasn't your partner a Marine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a badass.
Scary. Yeah.
Yes. Mailbag.
Jeremy from Maryville. And we're not doing last names anymore. I was embarrassing when I did that
Yes.
last show. I apologize to the
The
So this
identified
is
party.
Jeremy from Maryville. I'm not even going to give you his last initial. Heard you speak last week at Wicker Park at the Democratic rally for the American Rescue Plan. I wanted to be there to see you and Congressman Frank on the same stage at the same time. I voted for you for Congress last year, and I'm still sad that you weren't the winner. I was under the impression that you and Frank didn't exactly love each other, but you couldn't tell at the event. I thought you were very nice to him in your speech.
Oh,
Senator Eddie did well also, but it's obvious that he has other plans, like running for mayor against Jerome Prince. Chairman Weiser put on a great event as well, but you were the best of all the speakers, in my opinion. Then again, I am biased. I'm a huge fan of left of center.
wow! I would consider that like the most positive. Maybe it's because
I
left
picked
of
it out
center
on
or because
purpose.
of you.
Because you guys stacked this thing with like negative letters, so I got one.
I
Feels
think
like
left.
your
I think
mom
left
wrote
of
this
center
one,
got
too.
one.
No, that was Jeremy from Maryville.
I think
Thank
left
you.
of center got one. Is that a pro
No,
Tom or a
that's
pro
a-
left
I
of
think
center,
it's pro-
John?
I think it's pro Tom.
All I could hear was that Dear Slim like melody playing in the background. Like, Dear Slim, you probably won't get this, but
Oh, that's funny.
Tears gonna call to London.
But you were the best of all the speakers, in my opinion. That's my favorite line.
Yeah, I bet it was.
My favorite line.
Well, we did show that clip and it was great. I love that clip we showed.
All right. It goes downhill from here, though.
Back to normal.
All right. This is from Peter. All right.
This isn't necessarily.
No,
that
you're
bad.
right. This is decent. And then the last one's
This is
definitely-
just about an issue.
The last one's brutal.
All right, let's see
All right.
it.
This is from Peter. I am from Maryville, Indiana.
Another Maryville.
Dang, man.
Maryville in the house.
Belgium and Maryville, huh? Mayor McDermott knows me.
Oh.
I simply wanted to send a quick note saying I'm happy to hear the mayor is taking on Speros Batistatos of the CVA.
Ooh.
Excuse me. Spiro and I have butted heads many times over the year. Spiro, and it's spelling his name this way. I know Spiro's is his name.
Well, that's okay. We're just talking.
Spiro did not like that I was vocally against his push to create a food and beverage tax to pay for his convention center. Why would I not be opposed to my customers paying the tax to fund my competition? Spiro's reputation precedes him. Multiple people I have met over the years describe him as arrogant, difficult, and angry. Spiro's has never helped me, being one of the major players in the events business in Lake County, in any way to acquire any new business. For years, Spiro only seemed to focus on helping White Lodging, a billionaire-owned business. I would like nothing more than to see Spiro and his convention center go away. I thank you for advocating to rid the county of the terrible legacy that is Speros Batistatos.
Wow,
Thank you.
that is
Thank you, Peter. That's a very pleasant morning letter, you know.
that's pretty rough. That art, that's
So tell me how you really feel, Peter.
that issue is kind of bubbling. I was shocked on how many articles we got. Yeah.
Suddenly, this is a huge story, which is, it's interesting when that happens.
Yeah, something
It's
different.
sort of like how, when I ran for Senate, it was like suddenly, bam,
You're in for Congress. Yes.
running for Senate.
Oh, it just came out of nowhere.
It's like, bam, you're running for Senate now. I'm like, really? I didn't even do anything.
news
I was,
to me.
I was riding my mountain bike, funny enough. Like, all right. So anyway, there you go, 2. And then we could skip the last one if you guys want.
No,
Not that big of a deal.
This is good.
2 seems like appropriate for a show.
3 is good. Let's
All
do
right, whatever.
3.
This is really nasty.
I just like the fact that it came from Evansville.
And you could tell this lady's very angry.
Thank you,
with
listener.
life. She's
Watcher.
probably got some type of issues. Like, there's something going on.
I don't
We
know.
all agree.
She
We all
seems
agree,
she
right?
seems pretty with it.
I don't really know. I know you probably enjoy it, but anyway, from Joan.
I just like that you have to read it.
Joan from Evansville. Yeah, this is wonderful. I read with humor last week that you challenged U.S. Senator Todd Young to a celebrity boxing match.
With humor.
I find it hard to believe you could be in a celebrity boxing match with a U.S. Senator when I've never even heard of you.
Well, that's a lie. She obviously had since she got a hold of you.
Let's just call it a boxing match. You against a sitting U.S. Senator, not a celebrity boxing match. And Todd Young would kick your ass. So I would advise you not to host this match in your hometown. Thank you, Evansville, for your great support.
Wow.
I appreciate you.
Yes, we do love
Ouch,
Evansville.
that
but-
was rough, man. That's like demasculating.
Well,
Is it demasculating?
emasculating.
It is emasculating. She's just like ripping me down. Like Todd Young would not kick my ass, would he?
Joan,
Screw you, man. You're like,
I
you
don't
even
know.
pause. You'd be like, hell no, Mayor. Like,
I'm going to say no. I think
Oh,
I
thank
think
you,
you've
Kevin.
got him,
You-
but it
you
just makes
paused,
me a
though.
little bit nervous.
Oh,
I mean, the
God.
guy seems in shape. I don't know if he's a
think
boxer.
in shape. I got reach on him. I got weight on him. I'm definitely meaner. Definitely meaner.
That's true. He seems.
That goes
he
a long
seems
way.
pretty
By the way,
mild-mannered.
it's my hometown, so I'm going to have that.
You're going to have
energy,
that edge. You're going to
the
have the
extra
fans.
energy.
The
Hell yeah,
fans
they're
will
going to be on
behind
my
you.
side. Nobody's going to be supporting him.
And the region is, kind of rough and tumble. It's
if
scrappy.
he beats me down, I have to
Oh,
retire.
boy.
Like if I get knocked out, or how about this? He punches me and I start crying and I run out of the ring.
You wouldn't do that. Remember, Jill's going to pull the fire alarm first.
That's right.
I'm
We're
on
still
it.
on this, right?
Definitely.
Right. As soon as
We
I
have a
punch him.
plan.
As soon as I
Absolutely.
punch him the first time, boom.
Absolutely.
And then we're like,
Oh,
oh,
fire
you're so
department.
lucky, Todd Young. And then I run out.
That's right.
Okay.
And then you cannot be found.
Hey, why don't we eliminate the mailbag segment? It sucks.
I don't know. I think chat likes it.
All of a sudden, we're getting a lot more mail. I noticed that. So if you want to be,
If you want to insult the mayor, no. If you want to compliment us,
compliments are acceptable.
they are. We just don't get enough of them. So
Yeah.
please.
How do people send in mailbag? Let's talk about that.
You're the tech guy. Why don't you freaking say it?
I will.
Good. Get on it.
If you would like to
It's like
submit,
a rhetorical question.
Well, I didn't know if you guys wanted to take
I'm
the
good.
helm.
I'm-
You're the
no, you're-
locomotive.
Let's go, John.
I don't have
I'm
to do
ready for
everything,
you.
man.
There's many ways.
Like
Actually.
the conductor of the train doesn't freaking serve the cokes either. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to do other
He
work.
just takes the tickets.
He just like drives the damn train. That's what
conductor?
his job is. Well, the engineer or whatever they call
Oh,
it.
engineer.
Yeah.
Speaking of serving cokes, how's your guys' coffee today?
Why?
Fine.
From
What'd
the
you do to my
wonderful Jill.
coffee? Oh, you scared me.
Delicious.
That's some scary crap right there.
What?
You're like, hey man, how you like that coffee? As I'm drinking it,
Falling over.
That's the kind of stuff we did to chiefs in the Navy.
Oh.
Hey chief, how you like that coffee?
So you picked up on that right away.
I did pick
you
up
thought
on it
John
right
was
away.
like,
I'm dumping the freaking coffee now.
don't do that. I think Jill spent some time getting it ready for you.
What'd you do to it, Jill?
I hit that button on the Keurig, and that was it.
Came out.
Okay.
Just send a message to our Facebook page. That's probably the best way, right?
For Mailbag?
For Mailbag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can also email Steve at LOCPOD.com.
Yep.
Do you think Todd Young would be more inclined to respond to this boxing thing if the location was neutral?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that'd be one thing that would make him respond. Of course, if I'm a sitting senator who thinks I'm going to kill anyone that runs against me, I may not respond.
Do you think he knows where Hammond is?
Oh, yeah. He's been here. He's been at City Hall. He's been in your conference room.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good question Jill asked, though. That's the last time I've seen him here.
Mm-hmm.
We're Democrats. We don't matter to him.
When was that?
Oh, no. I think he was up here for a fundraiser.
We're Democrats, so
What?
he doesn't care where Hammond is. That's the unfortunate part of what's going on in Washington nowadays is, you know, when Dick Lugar was the U.S. Senator for Indiana,
Yeah.
big-time Republican, he came to Hammond all the time. Him and I knew
Statesman.
each other. Yeah. He was like, you're a Democrat, Mayor McDermott, and your city is mostly Democratic, but I'm your senator, and I'm going to represent you. Now with our two senators, Braun and Young, they don't give a crap about us. They don't give a crap if you have a D next to your name, you're dead. D for dead.
You know, I would say that when that is kind of like a really like defining moment, I think, in the Republican Party when Dick Lugar got challenged.
It was good for us.
It was real good for us because
our buddy Joe Donnelly was
ended up the recipient of that.
it was the exact playbook. Like Donnelly had wanted nothing to do with running against Lugar, but technically when Joe Donnelly filed for U.S. Senate back in 2012, he filed against Richard Lugar, and then Joe didn't have a primary, so he goes through the primary clean, and the Republicans filed a
Richard
whack
Murdoch.
job, Richard Murdoch, a geologist, against a sitting U.S. senator, and of course the geologist wins because politics is jacked up
It was
now.
crazy.
I mean, you beat a statesman like Richard Lugar.
Yeah, that was more. That was like Tea Party time, wasn't it?
2012. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
like
it's right around there.
yeah.
But it was
Pre-Trump.
Tea Party.
Yeah,
But,
pre-Trump.
but Tea Party is what we're dealing with now. It's like started off as Tea Party, and then it went into Trump.
It was like take on any Republican
Yeah.
who seems to be too moderate.
If you're moderate, if
And
you're
if you
reasonable, if you
right.
work with the other side. I mean, the fact is, we're starting to branch off into three parties already. The moderates are starting to break away from both parties, really. Look at what's going on with the negotiated infrastructure.
I love it.
It's all moderates.
I love it. And I think it also, by the way, for those that, still want to criticize our president about being like some sort of progressive, wacko lefty, I think he's proven himself to try to work with the middle of the pack. Because I think he's been in the past, he's been, I think, a moderate. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things you can point to that say, well, this is pretty progressive, this is far left, he's doing this. And that's true. But I think legislation-wise, I would always say Joe Biden is good at getting legislation through, and he's proven it again. He did it when he was vice president with Obama. He did it when he was in the Senate, and he's doing it again now. That's where I'm at. Sorry, John.
Hey, John gave us a story he wanted us to cover. It's a good story.
Yeah.
And we put it in. We usually ignore John's recommendations.
Generally.
Like 99% of the time, we completely ignore them.
That's not a lot. That's not a joke.
To who?
Throughout the week.
Maybe it is a joke.
It's a fact. It's factual.
I want the listeners to know there's a LOCPOD thread, and throughout the week I send articles, mainly without comment. I just send them and say potential topic.
Yeah.
Very strange.
They are brilliant articles.
Usually I
they're
ignore
about
them.
real issues, and
That's
we don't
arguable.
like to talk about that stuff
I
here.
actually figured out a way to block John. Like anything he puts on my phone just doesn't appear, which is amazing.
This is
one's
probably
like
my
the-
last
I'm
season,
not
let's
even
be
on
honest.
that thread.
I thought it was all of ours.
You're not
last
even on
season.
the-
What do you
I'm
mean,
not,
Jill?
even, I'm not even on that thread.
Jill's gonna get promoted to the LOCPOD thread.
Don't
soon.
ask for that, Jill.
Yeah, dude, no kidding.
So anyways, this is exciting.
yeah, good
It's
job.
a
Exciting
big day for
moment.
So
John.
John, this is John's story. We're going to talk about it.
Here we
'Cause
go.
I was interested
Because this is
Normally-
your guy.
This
Yeah.
is my guy,
Yeah.
my favorite president.
You
my
have a
dog is
statue
named
of
after-
this guy at your house.
I have a statue of him in my office, in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dog named Teddy, my favorite president, Teddy Roosevelt. I share that with my beautiful wife, Marissa.
Yeah.
Our love for Teddy Roosevelt. I know he was Republican.
You've been
but-
to his house,
Yes, I've been to his house.
which is pretty cool that you went there because I really would like to see that.
Yeah, it's on Long Island, right by where Marissa grew up. But Teddy Roosevelt is like, if he was alive today, he would not be a Republican, by the way.
No, he'd be rejected by the
He'd
Republican
probably
Party
be a
today.
strong moderate, actually.
Yeah,
just
I
like
agree
a
with that.
John McCain type, which is another one of my heroes, by the way. But this is a New York Museum of Natural, I think it's Natural History,
Would make sense, right? He was
wants to remove a Teddy Roosevelt statue.
he was a big naturalist.
So John fires this off to me, and I'm like, what the beep? Like, what is going on in New York? They're removing a Teddy Roosevelt statue. Like, we need more Teddy Roosevelts in the world. not fewer. Like, what the hell are they thinking? Is this political correctness gone crazy, right? So I've opened the article. I'm interested, which usually when John sends me stuff, I'm completely uninterested, but this one got me.
Yes.
I love you, John. You know that, right? John's like,
I'm
going to stop
completely
sending.
disinterested.
Where's the picture of this thing?
Yeah, I don't know,
I want the
John, just-
LOCPOD. I want the viewers to see it. It's not even in here.
So anyway,
It's so offensive. They can't show
great
the
article, John.
statue.
Great article that you sent us. Doesn't even have the photo of the
All
statue.
right, let me find this.
There's a hand.
Keep talking.
New York
about it.
Museum votes last week to relocate a statue to a cultural institution dedicated to Roosevelt's legacy, according to the New York Times. The museum staff and city officials had agreed last year amid protests over racial injustice that the statue of Teddy Roosevelt should be removed due to concerns over its racist depictions. The statue shows Roosevelt on horseback leading an African-American man and a Native American man who are following on foot.
There it is.
The American Museum of Natural History has asked to remove the Theodore Roosevelt statue because it explicitly depicts black and indigenous people as subjugated and racially inferior, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio said at the time. The city supports the museum's request. It is the right decision at the right time to remove this problematic statue.
All right.
And there's the statue. I realized, so for those of you that are not watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, we have Teddy Roosevelt, obviously him on a majestic horse, and he's looking like a
looks
badass.
Healthier than ever.
He's like strong, like going off into the War of 1812, right? And
1812.
I'm just, no, not the War of 1812, you're right.
Maybe he's going to the hill in
the
Cuba.
the Cuban War, right?
It's like, whoa.
When we invaded Cuba. And
Yes.
at his left foot, basically following.
Puerto Rico.
His holding his, like his foot, basically, is an African-American, like warrior-looking man, like a young, strong-looking African-American warrior. And at Teddy Roosevelt's right foot is a young, strong Native American warrior.
With headdress.
With headdress. And they're both like, obviously, they're like basically touching his feet as Teddy is like marching forward.
African-American warrior is shirtless.
Shirtless. And so is the Native American warrior.
Yes, true.
And they removed the statue, not because of Teddy or what he stood for, not because he was, owned slaves or anything like that, like we see nowadays a lot. He wasn't obviously in the Civil War. They removed this statue because of the way it depicts the African-American warrior and the indigenous, the Native American warrior, as basically inferior.
Subjugated, yeah.
Subjugated. And I'll be honest with you, John, I agree with this. I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm going to go a step further. I guarantee you there's statues of Abraham Lincoln, and nobody would ever deny that Abraham Lincoln wasn't huge in the civil rights movement. I mean, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment were passed because of him, the Emancipation Proclamation. But I guarantee you...
The defeat of the Confederacy.
Thank you. But I guarantee you there are statues of Lincoln out there that depict African Americans in a racially, insensitive way, and I imagine some of those statues will be removed as well. So what I'm saying is, I see this move not as a move against Teddy Roosevelt. It's a new move because the sculptor at the time was insensitive to African Americans and Native Americans, and I agree.
We think we evolved, right, over time, and it might have been appropriate, or at least seemingly appropriate. Probably wasn't appropriate, but it's seemingly appropriate at the time. But time marches on, and let's do the right thing.
What do you think, Jill?
So, I mean, are they going to replace it, or they're just removing it completely?
They're putting it in a Teddy Roosevelt museum, basically.
Yep.
It's not going to be displayed publicly.
I don't think there will be a new statue there. At least
No.
I haven't heard that.
They're going to put it in a Teddy Roosevelt museum where it's more appropriate instead of sitting in front of the library like it is.
Or the
right now.
Natural History Museum.
Yeah, right. John,
I think it's crazy.
I know you do. But
no,
don't see the point
all
at
I did was sent the link. I didn't
No,
say
but the thing is, you don't get it at all. What we're saying is, it does.
I get what you're saying, but the problem is, for the woke mob, where does this end?
Like I said, there could be a Lincoln statue out there that depicts African Americans.
I know, and that's going to be removed too.
What do you think? All right, John. What do you
cares?
think about Confederate statues? People that basically went out to destroy the country, destroy the Union. Should those stay?
It's part of the history, man.
That's all right. So we should have
You
like
just want to
so here,
everything
John,
will be
how about,
erased.
okay, let me ask you this:
and sterilized.
Statues
in this
of
country.
Hitler in Germany, leave them up because it's part of history.
Good point. It's
Yes
true.
or no?
Why are you laughing?
Yes or no?
That's a good question.
Are there statues of Hitler? in
They're
Germany?
no,
because they took them all down.
They got rid of them.
Should we have Himmler up and because and Rommel because
When
they
were
were
those
great
erected?
generals?
during the Third Reich?
Sure. Yes. Leave
See-
them up.
See, the thing is, honestly,
Dude, it's in Roosevelt's capacity. Of course, he's going to be on a horse. and you have a Native American and African American walking next to him. And
I guarantee you he didn't ride around with a Native American and an African American holding his feet.
If it was him on a horse, I'm good.
Back in the 10s or in the early 1900s, I guarantee
1880s.
You when he rode around on his horse, he didn't have an African American holding his foot, and he didn't have an African.
I don't see the holding of the foot anywhere.
It's basically holding his stirrups. They're like subjugated.
But this could imply unity. I don't know. Who knows?
Know. Well,
it's just another thing.
Let me ask you a
where
question.
Everyone's enraged.
So, like with me, honestly, I've never really been a huge Jefferson fan, right? I haven't, and quite frankly, I love George Washington, like most Americans, right? But they are going to be looked at differently in the future because they own slaves. Fact.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't. And by the way, what I would say about that is, to me, it doesn't take away necessarily from what they did, and as forefathers of our country, and they were, illuminated thinkers regarding democracy. I mean, those are all great things. I just think you have to always look at it in the context of the time, and then also, judge them, in my opinion, based on their total package.
To be a great person, it lasts generations, ages, right. Could be centuries. So is Washington a great person? Of course, right? Is Jefferson a great person? Yeah. But can we look negatively at some of the aspects they had? Yeah, they're not perfect. They were slave owners, right?
I mean, Teddy Roosevelt had some very racist views. Well, but
so did
you have to look at it in context. I still love the fact that Teddy Roosevelt was the one that started our national parks. We wouldn't have Yellowstone, Yosemite, et cetera, all these things, the Badlands, if it wasn't for Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, a trust buster, right. Mm-hmm. Went against big business, even though it wasn't a popular thing to do.
He's not your typical Republican. You can't really call him a Republican nowadays, Teddy Roosevelt. I love the guy, though. And I see where John's coming from. I also see what's happening down south when a lot of the Confederate statues are being torn down. And I agree. That was a dark time in our history. We got to, going back to the whole, race and race issues, Tulsa riots and, Juneteenth and all that. How do we not, until the last couple of years, I'm a pretty smart guy. I never knew anything about any of that until the last couple of years. So what's wrong with educating America's children on important issues in the African-American community? What's wrong with that? African-Americans make up 25% of the population of the city I live in. 1 out of every 4 kids. What's wrong with teaching people about the Tulsa race riots? It's important. America, we have dark history. It's important to teach us our history.
And to confront it. And
by the way, we're going through a dark moment in our history right now. So why don't we learn from our F-ups in the past so we don't do another January 6th, I think it's important to learn we're ugly people. We are an ugly people. We have an ugly history. We have things, and to whitewash over it and act like everything is perfect is exactly the wrong approach to take.
And John, just to mention, I don't want to not address what you said. You said the woke mob, and I think it's all about doing it in a manner that is smart and that takes it into. I'm not for as you know, cancel culture is scary to me. I think, and we've talked about this with musicians and others that have had to deal with this. That really scares me. But I think when you do things thoughtfully and think through them, in my opinion, like this, the statue, I think it works. That's wrong.
Where does it end? What will be there will be nothing left. I'm telling you guys. That's not true. There will be nothing. No, there's nothing left now. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. Toyota can't even contribute to certain.
You're not
candidates.
A racist at all. So I don't know.
When you speak in superlatives like that, it makes it less.
It is
believable.
That's so crazy, John. There's
what's
thousands
crazy
and thousands.
When you say there's nothing or everything.
I don't know why you'd be so threatened by this. I mean, honestly,
I'm not threatened by it.
You are obviously
just offended.
I'm
not offended. I'm looking at this like I look at most things when I read the news today. It's insane. That's what it is.
I'm going to give you another thing to be offended about. Okay.
You never answered my Hitler
Did you guys see?
I don't know why. Why do I?
Why do you send these?
Why do I even what am I doing here?
Yeah, you brought this on yourself.
Surrounded by
people. Love you. Our listeners love you. They love your point of view.
Go on.
Did you guys see stage
POV,
one?
John, POV.
Stage one of the Tour de France. Some asshole.
Now, see, this is something we can agree on, John.
Could we agree on this? Freaking people.
A woman.
Asshole lady.
Well,
I actually have a clip of this.
Is it a young lady or is it an old lady? Okay,
all right. So let's set it up. All right. So if you haven't seen this, Tour de France. I don't know what stage it was. Stage one.
Yeah,
okay. So opening day.
It's literally opening. They're still in the huge peloton.
Yeah. If you've never seen it in France, right? It is number one. It's just the event of the summer, and people line the road from town to town.
I think most people
watch it, and they watch the race.
Right. And then in this case, it's early in the race, Kevin. And could you talk about, because you
there's
French.
a lady. Well, yeah,
you speak French, and it's a French
according
sign.
According to Jill, it's actually some French and German on it. So the woman has a and maybe Belgian. There's a sign that says "Let's go," and it says it's like a nickname for Grandma and Grandpa is what it says. So
Omi?
it's like Omi
it's
and
like
Opie.
saying like Jima.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
so Grammy and Grandpa and Papa. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
it's like let's go, and then she's not facing the cyclists.
Right.
She's facing the cameras.
There's a camera passing. They're in front of the peloton filming backwards. So this lady's like, if I jump out in front of the peloton with this sign.
Tell people what the peloton are, because people think it's just like me looking at guys. When
I
ride.
Peloton is a large group of riders that are using each other as a windscreen, basically, and they're all and it's
interesting.
It's freaking amazing when you
the
get
peloton is.
I was riding the other day with 4-8 and his kid, and it was super windy. I jumped behind 4-8. Man, it's like you're in a vacuum.
Like a mini peloton.
It like pulls you. 4-8's a big boy, and you could literally like shield yourself from the wind. I would get right behind him. It was like incredible.
He's like a human shield.
It it's like a vacuum. It sucks you even faster. But so what they do is they shield the wind on purpose, and their strong riders are buried in the peloton.
Right, and they're teams, by the way.
Right, they're teams, and so there's guys on this team. Their whole purpose in life is just to get tired
and protect the guy in front,
and to take all the wind, and then eventually their chosen rider will break out of the peloton and go sprinting, and hopefully win the race. And they win.
It's like a worker
team.
bee versus a queen bee.
So anyway, yeah, good point, Kev. So anyway, this idiot lady, I think it's a lady. We all agree on that?
Yes.
Because there's some controversy about that. But
and
then there's a controversy whether she's young or old. But she jumped out in front of the TV camera that was pointing backwards at the peloton, held up her sign, blocked a rider in the peloton who hit her and fell down.
Hit the sign only.
Hit the sign, but it took the bike down. And when he went down, he was in the front of the peloton. It caused a massive 100 pile up.
Here you can see the sign on the left, right?
Yep.
That's a woman.
Ale Opi Omi.
Ale Opi Omi.
And that's part German, part French, part Belgian.
And is this a girl now? This is a girl. It looks to me like a young girl, right?
Young to 30-ish, I guess.
And she's wearing a yellow. And she clips him with the sign. He's going down. Oh no! There's like 4 riders. Oh, rider 1 goes down. Rider 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's like massively piled up.
Look at that pile up.
And taking down
these bikes are all worth $20,000 each too, and there's bikes with snap frames.
Right, that sign right there, Phil.
Oh my God!
Whoa!
And then she just disappeared.
She
right?
jammed,
she took off.
She took off. They showed her taking off.
I'd be like,
yeah, I saw another report of her taking off.
That is the
I'm gone. I'd be like, yeah, we're like, look for her. Can you see her in there?
So they're trying to.
Like, she's running off.
Darted up over that hill.
I'm gone, dude. This went a little awry.
Look at that. So there's I was reading that the French government is trying to prosecute her.
Wow. So what happens to all those riders? Are they
disqualified?
Or
they're not disqualified. They got to get up and try to finish.
Yeah.
And by the way, there was at least one rider that had to withdraw from the race.
There's a few riders.
Yeah. Withdraw. Think about this. You fight, you work your tail off your whole career to get in the Tour de France, and this happens, and you're out.
It's stage 1.
It's
like the first 5 minutes of the race. It's a massive pile up.
I hope she dumped that yellow coat before she ran.
She dumped that yellow coat. What's she wearing underneath?
She turned it inside out.
The sign and the coat are just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Crazy.
Watch the Tour de France.
Tour de France is fun stuff.
Fun to watch.
So we're going to do some ads, then we're going to come back and talk some Britney Spears. Looking free Britney. That's right.
Jill's like, finally.
Free Britney.
It's and Britney, bitch.
And then we're going to bring up some SSCVA fun stuff because it's the topic of the day where we live, and we want to bring the topic of the day to you.
I know it's part of Mailbag.
It's part of Mailbag also. But anyway, we're going to do some ads, and then we're going to come back with some free Britney.
Jill.
You are listening to Left of Center, where we cover everything from politics to important events of the day in the Midwest and the nation, all while having way too much fun while doing it. If you can't get enough of us, so much fun, especially today for you. Follow us on Facebook at Left of Center Podcast or on Twitter at LOCPOD. If you can't listen in live, you can download our episodes on the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Napster, MySpace, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
Are we really on Napster now?
Is that still a thing?
What is Napster?
I don't know. Just search Left of Center. It's probably the same as Stitcher, honestly. Just search Left of Center and look for the red and blue logo. Don't forget to subscribe and rate on every one of those applications. If you would like to advertise on our show, send an email to steve@lockpod.com.
We're proud to announce we have been picked up by Grindr as well. So,
ooh.
Yeah. So if you want to watch us on Grindr, there you go.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yes, sir.
You want me to start?
Yes.
Yeah. Powering America is Northwest Indiana's source for a trusted electrical professional. If you are a developer looking for a large-scale electrical contractor, Powering America can help take the guesswork out of finding a professional you can trust. They have a select network of electrical contractors that are committed to employing local electricians that have successfully completed a certified apprenticeship training program registered with the Indiana Department of Labor. Now, that sentence right there is really hard to spit out.
You did a good job today.
It did? Right.
You spit it out.
Their select network of electrical contractors are committed to employing local electricians that have successfully completed a certified apprenticeship training program registered with the Indiana Department of Labor. All employees are held to a high standard of professionalism, expertise, and knowledge, and all of their contractors are licensed, bonded, and insured. If you would like more information about your electrical needs, visit Powering America today at CertifiedElectrician.com. That's Powering America today at CertifiedElectrician.com.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio, perfect for enjoying its finely crafted ales,
perfect
lagers, and chef-driven food. Brewing equipment on our production side offers a unique backdrop for your private event like bridal and baby showers, birthdays, reunions, and corporate events. Conveniently located just off 8094 and the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. And even if it's raining, you can still eat inside. You don't have to be on the patio.
Yeah.
It's a covered patio.
It is.
So do whatever you want there. Eat up.
Grazolius Concrete was voted #1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and specializes in all of your concrete projects. Grazolius has been using the original cement finish in the California style since 1972 and also offers stamped and colored concrete. For more information or a project quote, call Grazolia at 219-659-4127.
The hand works better with the Hawaiian shirt.
Extra 10% for shirt off patio work.
It should be a plus 10%.
I agree.
Extra
you want
10%.
Bernie to...
Extra 10%.
You said 10% off.
Oh, shit.
You want... It's plus 10% for Bernie shirtless.
I'll start that off. For more information or a project quote, call Grazolia's at 219-659-4127. Extra 10% for shirt off work.
Shirtless.
Shirt off.
Shirt off work.
I like that.
His whole crew will go shirt off for an extra 10%.
There you go.
Yeah, because he hires good-looking dudes. What's going on? Rick Baltensberger walking
Try
in the
Electronics.
in, man.
Wants to be your complete communications provider. Try Electronics.
And you want to be my computer.
Has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years and can provide your business
with end-to-end.
Thank you, John. Communication solutions.
Dude, it's getting creepier.
For more information, call Try Electronics today.
It's like sexual predator.
At 800-722-6793 and tell them LOCPOD sent you.
He has way too much fun with the end-to-end.
No, it's popular. It's popular with. Oh, that was Chris.
I almost missed it because chat has broken out in the deep conversation about this Theodore statue.
I'm glad.
All right, good.
We're creating dialogue.
We're here
That's it, John.
We're here to poke.
Yeah,
and
man.
move on.
Exactly.
I love poking.
We're leaving it in the dust.
Poke and move on.
Speaking of Grindr,
I'm not going to make
from Teddy
Grindr
Roosevelt
joke.
to Britney Spears, all here on LOCPOD this morning.
That's right. we have a guest walked in the studio.
We are not creating history, by
Notice
the way.
Misprint, one of our early sponsors, in the studio right now, Rick Baltensberger. Nice to see you, my
Thanks
friend.
for having me.
Hey, pull right up on that.
Yeah, you can move that mic arm wherever you want,
we
man.
can see
there
you
you go.
bud.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you. Our first Dutch guest.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. The Martinez model for success has always been responsive customer service, great tasting products with an authentic Mexican taste and high-quality standards. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow, John.
Maybe you're watching
Maybe
too
you
much
should
freaking
stop
chat.
looking at chat. You know, we were talking like Tom should watch.
Where's the jingle?
Para ti, tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor. Para ti, tu familia.
Yeah!
De todo corazón.
It's like extra stereo, like quadrophenia. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
See, Rick Baltensberger and Misprint got us too early before we were making songs.
Yeah, just think, if you would have just held off on your sponsorship, you could have got a jingle.
We had Eli first.
Did you?
Wow.
Did he make a jingle for you?
Yeah, early on in the campaign for Andrade.
Yeah?
He came in and serenaded all the girls and
But,
hung out.
I know.
They're like, what kind of...
He's
so then you
awesome.
left, and they said, what kind of free printing can we get you?
Yeah. Oh, lots.
Rick Baltensberger
What's
from
up,
Misprint in the house. Just in time to talk about Britney Spears.
Want to talk some Britney?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is crazy. Have you heard about this story?
Yes.
It's so crazy. Kevin, could you go through? You're going to take the lead on this.
Sure, I'll be happy to.
I find this interesting because I personally think Britney, I thought, like, when I was younger, 10, 15 years ago, thought she was ridiculously, amazingly hot.
Yeah,
and, like, I was
cute.
a huge
There's
fan.
a nice picture of her.
She looks great there, right?
Handpicked by Kevin, this
but
photo.
Like, that was, she looks great in this picture, right? We all agree she looks great.
This is the old Britney.
And then I follow her on Instagram, and she doesn't look like this anymore. She looks like...
We all get older.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about just getting older. She looks like she's whacked right now. Like, you look at her face, like, she looks like she's got her shit together here, right? You look at her now. John, pull up one of her latest Instagram.
Crazy eyes to me.
She has... No, dude. You should see her eyes now. She's flat nuts now, dude.
Whoa.
I unfollowed her.
Britney like that.
I couldn't handle it.
Thinking she needs an independent counsel or
also,
something. Somebody to evaluate her.
She does, Rick.
Like somebody totally...
She needs a solid person.
Yeah.
You guys see any good ones up here?
I'm trying to think.
All right, so while you guys are looking for current photos of Britney Spears... yeah, John, Tom's like,
keep him up there,
she doesn't look crazy there.
I saw her in Vegas.
I'll be right back.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
So the question is this, right? I mean, let me just lay it out for you. Britney's 38, so you... rewind 13 years, which would make her 25.
Yeah.
Maybe she's 39. I don't know, 40.
I thought she was 40.
Let's call her 40.
It says 38 years old here. Yeah.
All right, so she's rewind 13 years, so take her into her mid-20s. She has this episode, right, where she was shaving her head. She attacked a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. Erratic behavior, that's what was alleged. And she entered into this. She had a temporary psychiatric hold, which you can do in most states. You can have somebody put on hold for like 48 hours under psychiatric kind of monitoring, and either have to be released or put under some sort of permanent hold.
That's one of the things
that
Judge Marissa's court does a lot of.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
It's
Every
usually
state does.
Seniors. Or
Judge Cantar does a lot of mental health issues as well. And so she had to do a mental health evaluation and eventually ended up in what's called a conservatorship, which don't exist in Indiana. In Indiana, the closest thing I think we have, it's very similar actually, is a guardianship.
Right.
In which case you appoint someone who applies to the court. Yeah, I would think it's generally.
They call it conservatorship in California, guardianship.
In other states, right. And
it's
guardianship here. I would assume it's similar, right? And every state has different laws and standards, but yes, that would be the Indiana version.
So like if Rick was appointed
guardian over
or Brittany or whatever,
sure.
He's total control.
Right. Well, so again, that usually is laid out in the guardianship order.
Right.
It says this is what you're in charge of. Financial.
Could even be personal life stuff.
Education.
She couldn't even cut her hair.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean,
because she shaved off her hair, and that's bad for business. But like, why doesn't Brittany? Why isn't she allowed to shave her head? I shave my head.
Well, and there's
I'm
also
a mayor and I shave my head.
I read some things
you
also
head,
that she's
right?
got an IUD, right? She's got something in her that doesn't allow her
prevents
to
her from having
pregnant.
kids.
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean, here's the thing though. As I read more and more, it's pretty obvious, at least through things that her sister have said in the past, and her brother has said in the past, is that they're very protective of her. And that they're worried about outside influence. Well, I mean, there's also a mental health issue here.
She can't have her own kids.
Okay, let me ask you this, Tom. If somebody, and I'm not saying she is.
Dude, there's some jacked up people that have kids.
Agreed. If somebody is significantly mentally ill and they're worried about her ability to care for a child, should that person be able to have a child? I don't know the answer to that. Right, but they're not under a conservatorship or guardianship. I mean, to me, it's a very interesting issue.
When does it end?
That to me is the ultimate question, because it seems now that she believes that she wants to see it either be modified or end.
Let me ask John a question. You said you saw her in Vegas, John?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Phenomenal.
Right?
She's the queen of pop.
Right?
Well, I just want to know what's going on.
I mean, she was lip syncing, but it was great.
Is her money being spent?
So every year, usually at least in a guardianship, right? Every year, or at the court's discretion, even more than once a year, you have to file a report on what's going on in the guardianship. So I would imagine that the finances they have to be approved. Like, for example, I know that her mom just objected to an $890,000 legal bill that was put out there. And so you can object to things. You can bring things up to the court, and then the court decides, yes, this is a good expense. No, this isn't. But they're micromanaging her, for sure. And the question is, when does she have...
Micromanaging? They're telling her you have to have an IED in.
They're
telling her you can't shave her head. You have to play Vegas. You have to do this.
Well, do we
you
know
can't
that?
do this.
She's not the only one, too. I guess this is not like a one-case, one-off thing. This is a big deal.
I think the thing that's changed and that's brought this up, because actually I read that Free Britney actually started in 2009. So this has been going on for a while from her fans, and which was just a year after the conservatorship started. I think what's changed is that Britney finally decided that she wanted to, because these are private. These are usually like not of record. It's like a juvenile case, right? You don't.
Well, with a senior with like dementia.
Right. These are usually court records that you don't see. She decided that now she wants to make it more public, and she spoke for the first time publicly about it.
Jill, have you been following this?
A little bit after she did her speech a couple days ago.
A little bit. Come on,
Brittany's. You're a Britney
I mean,
fan.
it's been 13 years. She's funding the people that are controlling her.
Every side.
Both lawyers. Yeah, I mean, both sides.
So, like, when she files a suit, files a motion to end the conservatorship, and then her dad, who gets paid by her, and he hires a bunch of lawyers who get paid by Britney, and then they spend a bunch of money so that they could continue the gravy train and make money off of Britney. It's like she's like a...
It's interesting. You bring up a good point.
Servitude.
You bring up a good point, Tom. Is the question is one of those lawyers? Is her lawyer looking out for her best interest? And I think that's, to me, as an attorney, one of the most interesting parts of this is Britney's lawyer. And by the way, this happens in other cases where, let's say, a divorce case. Sometimes one party pays for both attorneys. You know, if
you're wealthy, right?
Yeah, if you're wealthy, and let's say your spouse isn't, you end up paying for your spouse as a lawyer,
right?
But in that case, your spouse picks that lawyer,
right?
In this case, it didn't. It's unclear on who picked her lawyer, and now she's trying to get potentially another lawyer.
She's a public defender.
Oh well, no, she has. She could, but she has a lawyer that's been paid a lot of money to represent her. He said at the last hearing he didn't know what she was going to say, and he also said he'd withdraw if she wants him to. So I think that's going to play out. I think that'll be the interesting thing is if she gets a new lawyer and that lawyer then sent request a petition to terminate the conservatorship, that's going to be a big fight. Yeah. That's the fight.
Right.
And it'll take a long time because you can have discovery, which means you can do depositions, you can have a trial, and then the judge is going to decide whether to terminate the conservatorship. But that's not going to happen overnight. And there's been nothing that's happened in court to date that has indicated that it should be terminated.
Well,
so,
from what I read, she didn't do herself any favors this last week or whatever.
Really?
She kind of looked crazy in court, I heard.
Really?
Okay.
Well, they switched her meds to like lithium or something.
I'm telling you.
She stated that.
If you look at her Instagram, John, can you pull up Instagram over there? That's where she lost me. Like, I was like, holy Toledo. Like, you could start to tell with her eyes there. They look
sure.
But like, there's her Instagram, she looked like she was whacked out of her mind. And she's like, it was so crazy.
She's heavily medicated. I mean...
I think we have to be sensitive to the fact that Britney Spears apparently has a mental health issue. And I mean, that's at the end of the day, I'm not saying she can't be.
I think her mental health issue is she's like in prison for her family so she can make her money.
That's interesting because I think, and this doesn't take away from the fact that she can't perform. She can't, I mean, we know people with mental illness. There's lawyers we know with mental illness.
She makes millions of dollars. She's like obviously doing something right.
You can function. The question is, can you, at the end of the day, manage 100% of your affairs?
How about this? You know, this is something I was listening to Howard Stern yesterday, and he brought this up, actually.
Nice. I didn't hear that.
Pete Davidson. Okay, John, go down to that picture. Okay, go over. And the one in the middle, second from the top.
Right here?
Middle, second from the top.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one where I was like, oh, my God, this chick is
Thank you
crazy.
To our producer.
So anyway, Howard Stern brings up yesterday Pete Davidson.
Yep.
The actor.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Pete Davidson.
Okay,
Saturday
from
Night Live, right?
Right.
He's been like talking about killing himself in public. He's like rifled through all of his money.
Yeah.
He has like known history with drugs and abusing drugs, and you know nobody's ever like trying to take his control and like take his money.
Okay, so that brings up the question: Does Davidson have a good support system? Does he have somebody that wants to be his guardian or
does he have somebody that wants to take his money?
Is it because he's a man?
That's a great question,
Good
Jill.
question.
That's a great question. Like, if Britney shaves her head, oh my God, let's take her money and take her control and stick an IED in her so she can't have kids, right? Pete Davidson like threatens to kill himself, and everybody's like, screw Pete Davidson, right?
Yeah, I mean, the question, of course, is always, is somebody going to step up and file for a guardianship or conservatorship? I don't know.
So Britney's family loves her so much they took control of her.
I mean, there's definitely something going on, right? I mean, the question is, can she really manage 100% of her affairs? Last year I read that she indicated in some court paperwork that the conservatorship was voluntary. So,
because what would happen if she just said, I am going to shave, and she just shaves her head? She goes in the bathroom and shaves her head. I mean,
nothing.
What can they do?
They would probably use it against her.
They would use they'd say, see, this is why we need a conservatorship.
She's crazy, right?
Well, they leaked the court records a couple days ago, and part of it was she said she's never alone. She can't even change by herself.
Wow.
You know,
that's what she said in court. She said that in court, yeah.
But did you look at how much everybody's making?
Oh yeah, it's definitely
crazy
profiting
money
off of her.
Her dad, whose name is Jamie, and then like
Jamie Lynn is the sister, Britney's sister, and Lynn is the mom, and there's a lot of.
It's a weird situation, but anyway, the dad who is like previously filed for bankruptcy makes like $15,000 a month to manage her business. Basically,
it's a good salary,
and he filed for BK. So like obviously this guy's not the best manager of finances.
Well, I can tell you, I also read that they have a medical team that evaluates her. So
I bet you they have a fleet of lawyers that are making tons of money to keep her locked up too.
At the end of the day,
hell yeah, let's keep her locked up. If she's locked up, I keep on billing her.
At the end of the day, the question is the conservatorship in her best interest? And like the mayor says, there could be a very good counter argument that this is all just built up to protect those that are making money off this.
She's like in legal prison.
It's going to play out very interestingly, I think. And there's a lot of focus on it. So I think
Jill, it has a lot to do with the fact that she's a female as well. I think it has a lot to do with that.
I never thought about that, but you're right, Jill. That's a really interesting point.
I think if Britney was a male and she was going through this, nobody would give a crap. And it'd be like,
that, or maybe the guy gets out of it easier.
Right. They're like, it's
like, leave me alone.
Right.
Get out. I want out of this. Yeah, that's interesting. So, it'll play out. Free Britney. Hashtag Free Britney. LOCPOD.
Maybe that should be the title of the episode.
Wow, John. Well, finally, we're going to get some subscribers.
Hashtag Free Britney.
There you go.
Free Britney.
You're doing it, right?
Thank you, LOCPOD viewers.
Yeah. So, Rick, welcome to the studio, man.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Thank you for the sponsorship.
Wonderful setup.
Yeah, you've been here before, haven't you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you for the Locomotive's birthday card.
Yeah, the 4-footer.
The 4-foot card. I appreciate that. Yeah. So we appreciate you, like one of our early sponsors, man.
Yeah, well, I'm always on board.
Oh, look we still got it.
Oh, there it is.
Bring that over.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Misprint does 4-foot cards. They specialize in 4
From wrapping cars to business cards.
No job is too big or too small.
That's right. See, we still know it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good work.
So what's up? How's business?
Very busy right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Everybody's pumping on all cylinders. I can barely keep up.
That's awesome.
What's the craziest thing you've ever printed?
Oh, this should be good.
This is a podcast, so you can say it.
You don't have to say who it was for or what the name was.
Well, I mean, we've touched pretty much every subject you could ever imagine.
Really?
I think the craziest thing ever was probably 10 years ago when we were, getting pretty good at rapping. This guy dropped off a brand new Toyota Camry. Had maybe 10 miles on it.
And you're a car guy.
Yeah.
So you're
So he wants it wrapped, and he wants it wrapped all Cubs.
Nice.
Whole car's pinstripes, logos everywhere.
Nice.
Deliver the car. The guy dies 5 days later.
Whoa.
No,
what do you do with a brand new Cubs wrapped Toyota?
I don't know. I never saw it again.
Get out of here.
He just wanted it for himself? This wasn't like
this was just something he
Ford
wanted.
Wrigley or something?
He was really old, and I don't know. Maybe just...
You killed him.
It was so good. Our rapping is so good, you'll die.
The Black Widow rap.
I killed a man. My rapping has killed a man.
It was the rap fumes.
It was, yeah. Right.
Is that the car we raffled off at 219?
Yes.
With the rat.
You wrapped the 219
That
car.
was funny.
Well, hopefully that person's still around.
I saw. Yeah, I think he is because I saw that car once in a while.
I know.
So that was just a one-off.
But then I heard it got in a wreck.
Really? The Region car?
It was a wreck, or it was in
both.
a wreck?
Both. The Region car. So, hey, you guys, you know what's good for ratings? Talking about Speros.
Oh, jeez.
Let's talk some Speros.
You're sitting here, Rick. You're in it now, man.
Yeah, feet in the fire.
By the way,
right,
did you wear that orange for your Dutch soccer team?
Well, it might have a little bit to do with it. Just in spirit.
I see that. They're out of the tourney. That's okay.
So, Rick, if you ever decide that you don't want to own a business anymore and you want to get into a well-paying career, I would suggest becoming the CEO of the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau.
I could handle that.
$330,000. That's a pretty solid salary they're paying.
Absolutely.
This is like suddenly a big story locally. And we talked about this on the last show. South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority Board voted not to renew CEO's Batistatos' contract when it expires at the end of the year because of concerns about growing compensation, officials said. Batistatos' compensation has grown to more than $330,000 a year, an increase of more than $120,000 over the last 8 years. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, so
$15,000 a year.
So there was a FOIA request that was done a while ago, and an article came out about this, and it was about the compensation package. And I think the board looked at that, and this is the interesting part. The reason it's back in the news is because the board took some action recently, and it looked like over the past several months they hired a consultant, an HR consultant, to do a review of his compensation.
Right.
And so now it came out, and that's when they brought it up to the board.
So let me ask you guys, first off, this is comparing his salary to mayor's, which is interesting because I run a city of 81,000 people. I mean, our budget, we have $100 million plus that we're responsible for every year. 1,000 employees, a city with, unfortunately, it's got poverty, it's got crime, it's got issues every day that we have to deal with. It's the most complex job you can imagine. And I get paid $130,000 a year, which is, I'm not complaining, all right? But when I look at the guy that's in charge of festivals, and he makes
heads and beds, Tom.
He makes 2.5 times my salary, and we're both government employees. It's like, what the hell is so special about this position where his job pays 2.5 times more than the mayor of Hammond and the mayor of Gary, one of the toughest jobs in politics. The governor of our state, he makes 3 times what the governor makes. So I guess the question is, how much should this guy be paid? I mean, Rick, I'm interested. You're walking in the studio. What do you think, like a position like this?
Well, when you're talking the way you're talking, and you have people like Nick Saban that are state employees essentially, and they perform, then okay, I can see that. But when I'm seeing the Gary Air Show down in another county, and
right?
From what I'm hearing from you, Pierogi Fest and Festival of Lakes and probably many other occasions aren't getting a nickel.
True.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think when you look at somebody like this, right? Because at the end of the day, I would look at it from a perspective of, if I'm hiring somebody and I'm out there in like a search, right? How am I going to be able to attract the best person for the job? And it's going to be look at it locally,
right?
And then look at it maybe regionally. Like, what do people in this position make in the Midwest?
So presumably, the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau board is going to start a search for a new CEO because they're not renewing his contract,
right?
So what are they going to advertise for the salary, you think?
Good question.
What do you think?
32,000.
32,000.
I would say, I don't know.
No one can be upset then.
180.
What do you think, Joe?
I think that's still high.
Really?
Wow.
180?
Yeah. Absolutely.
180. I think
you're talking total compensation, because Speros' base is like 150.
Yeah,
then his benefits was like another 100 and something.
Right. That was the weird thing, right? It was like 180. Yeah, another 180.
So let's just say, what do you think the total compensation for the new person is going to be? Like all day, at the end of the day?
2.
Yeah.
200.
I think that's high still.
I don't know, but I think you got to look at what you got to look at what the market bears in that industry, I guess is what I would say. So
what does he
I'd
actually
like to see a
do?
stat sheet.
What does he actually do?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think Speros doesn't really do a great job.
But I think, honestly, what do you think a duty of
you're in charge of marketing the region. So like you look at like Twitter followers. I have more Twitter followers than the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. I have more Facebook followers than the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. My Facebook, my social media pages gets more hits than theirs does. And that's a joke. I'm a mayor. That's it. I'm a mayor of a small part of our county, and my social media scene is way more active than his. I bring 100,000 people to my city every year. I bring acts like REO Speedwagon, Sammy Hagar, Los Ticanes de Tijuana. You know, like
I
put
I'm in a job interview. Are you
angry
for this
what
job?
I'm saying is I do more.
It's a pay raise.
I do more as mayor at $130,000 salary than this guy does in this job altogether. And his job is to promote the region. So when we're like, hey, Speros, we have a festival with 100,000 people coming here. Can you throw us a couple shekels of our money? Our tax money that went to your budget because people stay in our hotels. We have tons of hotels. Give us a couple bucks back so we could bring Sammy Hagar here,
this
right?
or that.
And he's like, no. If you won't let me speak on the stage, screw you, Mayor McDermott.
Question in the chat from Tom. Doesn't he pick most of the board? They're just going to hire him back at a lower salary.
This is a great question from Tom Kazmerzak. That's the second one. I mentioned one earlier. You guys blew me off. Tom Kazmerzak, I'm trying here, buddy.
So statutorily, he doesn't pick the board. The board is appointed by every city and town in Lake County.
But
in the past, there has been issues where if a deadline was missed, Speros
made up the law.
He interpreted the law to be something different, in which he was able to replace that person with somebody else.
With basically his own choice.
And he did that. The lieutenant governor's appointee was able to select someone.
He did that on a number of occasions, Kevin.
I think at least 4.
Right.
That we know.
I know Hobart, Hammond, and
Gary.
And Gary.
Yeah.
Hammond, I counted twice because we had 2 appointments that were balanced, and then the third one I sued him on.
Yep.
He tried to do it a third time, and I sued him.
Yeah, whatever happened with that?
According to the settlement agreement, they've agreed not to do it that way anymore.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they conceded basically.
Yeah,
there was an
agreement. There was an agreement that they won't do it that way anymore, and if they do try to do it that way, that entity can go to court and have it reversed.
So going back to Joel's question, what does Speros do? He's supposed to promote festivals. He's supposed to bring people to the region and quote unquote put heads in beds. You know, and
it's so vague though. Like they have a marketing department to market things. You know what I mean? Like
Well, he's the head of it. He's the executive of the Visitors Bureau. That they put on. Obviously, they have the building in Hammond off the Kennedy Avenue, which is a really cool building, by the way.
It is,
and it's nice to have it in town, right off the highway. They manage that. They manage, they promote different events around the county.
They do have some exhibits. I think that's...
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, like the Dillinger exhibit was there. And no, they put on nice events. And Christmas Stories, one of the ones they're famous for.
Cool.
Like I said, I'd like to see a stat sheet, what he's all done.
You know, the thing is, like, he takes credit, and he gets... So when people stay in the hotels in Hammond, and they stay the night, there's a fee that they pay, a tax that they pay.
Tax,
It's innkeeper's tax. Goes right into his budget. And by the way, which is bullcrap in itself, because that was an arrangement made with the Lake County Treasurer and the auditor that I don't agree with necessarily. But so this guy is not elected. Tax money flows right into his coffers, and he uses it how he sees fit, not in the best interest of the region. He spends money in Porter County. He spends money in LaPorte County. He spends money in Pulaski and Newton counties. He's throwing money everywhere. And then I'm like, hey, Speros, we have 100,000 people coming to Hammond for the festival. And he's like, screw you. You won't let me speak on the microphone. And then, by the way, not only that, like every year when he has his Christmas party, and I'm not complaining because I wouldn't go anyway. He never sends an invitation to me. I'm the only elected official in
his party.
No, what I'm saying is,
I get invited every year.
Do you? I wouldn't be surprised.
Really? Do you?
Never gone.
Do you really?
Do you? You get invited. I never do, which is fine.
Wow.
He doesn't want me there.
We have a partnership with.
But what I'm saying is, the guy. I'm the mayor. I'm the largest mayor in Northern Indiana. I'm the largest mayor in his district, and he won't even invite the largest mayor to his Christmas party out of spite because I dare question him. I say, "What you're doing is illegal," and he's like, "Oh, you're not coming to the Christmas party now, Mayor." He's a piece of crap, man. He's a petty piece of crap. He really is.
Well, I think it's interesting, right? The mailbag piece we got. They kind of said, his reputation precedes him, and I don't know. Maybe he's gotten himself in a little bit of a deep hole. I wonder if he'll be able to dig himself out. I mean, he said this is just a procedural issue at the board, so I guess we'll
nothing to see here.
I'm guessing it's not procedural.
Well, they took a vote that was procedural. Whether or not, we'll see what happens at the end.
This is Speros' comment. Batistatos said he believed his compensation was appropriate and reasonable. It's very appropriate for them to periodically study compensation to make sure practices are in line with what's going on in the industry. Compensation is up to the board, and they have every right to try to make an informed decision, but it's inappropriate for some board members to leak this kind of information. It's unfortunate. Yeah, like, don't be leaking my $330,000 salary to the media. It's very unfortunate when that happens, because then people become outraged.
Yeah, if the public knows.
All right, so I'm going to guess. So what's the numbers? We're all saying, what's a new person going to make?
200, maybe a little over, with the full deal.
200's high for me, but you guys know better than I do.
No, I'm just guessing. Take a guess. What do you think it should make?
I would think 150 tops. I mean, how could that job be worth more than what you guys are doing? I just don't see it.
I agree with you on that, by the way, and I appreciate that.
I mean, I think public officials get...
It's got to be less work.
They get underpaid
on purpose,
right? They do.
They pay you. What do you think, John?
I'm with Kevin. I think probably with benefits, 200.
Joe?
I still don't understand what he does, but...
Well, that's why I'm struggling with this.
Do you guys think this area needs the SSCBA?
I do. I think done in a professional manner, I think it serves a good purpose.
I do too. I think you could make it a really great position, and you could have really great events in Lake County, like the Air Show, and you could bring things back, and you could bring us back together using festivals.
Well, do we ever see billboards or commercials?
Hell no. The only billboards we see are the urinals. Hey, come piss in our building. Oh, yeah. Honestly, we have billboards with urinals.
Anti-Illinois stuff, and he did
anti-Illinois stuff,
and he did, great. Yeah, which is good.
How long ago was that,
They did a toilet or a urinal for something, right?
That's what I was just saying.
But how long ago was that?
Come piss in our thing. Like, thanks, bros. I had to piss,
your attention. Attention.
My house is like a mile away, and I went there to pee on purpose because I just thought it was so nice.
That means the billboard was effective.
It was effective.
It worked.
I went in there, I peed. I was like, wow, thanks, bros.
Hey, John, the other
great
thing
air conditioning.
I think that it can do effectively is, some smaller cities and towns that have great events may not have the ability to, market it or put it on the web and stuff. So it could.
What else they do great is sporting events. Mm-hmm. They have they help massively, and I'm telling you, I'm good friends with Dave Uran. Speros and Dave Uran are good friends, and Speros takes care of it. And the thing is, I wish I was his friend, because if I was Speros' friend, he'd be dumping six figures on Hammond, all the time. And Mayor Uran and Speros are real good friends, and Mayor Uran is taken care of, and God bless him, And
it helps promote a lot of the sporting events in Crown Point, which has a lot of great events.
Crown Point does great with sports, and it makes sense for the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau to work with them. But what really works is Dave and Speros are good friends,
and so they promote it. I mean, it's not like you don't have a multi-million-dollar sportsplex that's doing great. It'd be nice to promote that.
Dave has actually tried to get Speros and I on the same page. It's like
that's what friends do. They try to
he tried. And I appreciate
mediate things.
And I was like, all due respect,
oil and water.
It's just like we are different people. Honestly, like him and I are very, very different people. And I think that position could be used well, and it's unfortunate that it hasn't been used well. But so, Joe, what was your number?
I don't know. 2.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Mayor?
I don't
bet
know.
you.
Chat thinks 2 also.
Okay. I bet you at the end of the day, I'm going to be right on this.
Okay.
250.
All right. There you have it.
By the way,
all in.
Okay.
That's not just salary. That's
all in. All in. Yeah.
Right.
So though South Shore Convention will save $80,000 a year under my scenario.
But it also depends on what everyone else is making there.
Or what everyone
else.
That's
a good question because they all make high salaries too. Yeah.
All the other convention people don't make anywhere near what this one
Interesting.
does.
Okay.
But like he compares himself to like Indianapolis,
Cleveland.
And stuff like that.
I think,
Indianapolis
bigger,
is like because there's 600,000 people. No, 460,000 people live in Lake County.
Yeah, I would consider it like that's how you got to look.
Right.
Of course, you're not going to make the same as like the person in LaPorte that makes, right? It's a smaller county.
All due respect to LaPorte.
Oh,
and
of
Jack
course.
Arnett's great.
And
I love Jack.
Jack does a great job.
I love Jack,
there.
right? But like obviously, I think South Shore, the Lake County Convention and Visitors Bureau would make more. But then he tries to compare himself to Indianapolis, which hosts the Super Bowl and the Final Four. It's not comparable.
We're not there yet.
Right? It's not. I wish we were.
I wish we were.
What's the ratio of pay versus how much money actually comes through the convention bureau?
A lot of money comes through there.
Yeah.
Millions.
More than the city?
Millions, dude.
No.
No.
Well, then
more than some cities.
There's another
reason
reason to lower the bar.
At the end of the day, I think $100 million is a good number to use for Hammond. Okay, that comes through at the end of the day with taxes and casino and everything. Right, $100 million. I would be shocked if South Shore Convention had more than 4.
I was going to say more than 5. No way.
Yeah,
right.
No way.
Well, then that's a huge number to be paid off of that small amount of money.
I know, and he's making 3 times my salary. It's funny. Like 3 times my salary. I have employee-wise, I have probably 200 times more employees than he has. You know, like it's such a that's the jokey part of the whole thing.
When you're talking 4 or 5 million to be getting paid 300,000, I mean that ratio seems a little off.
330. Thank you.
Well, why don't you wrap us up, Mayor?
Thanks. I appreciate you stopping by, Rick.
Yeah.
Right
Glad you could have me.
Hey, how come your building always gets hit? It does, man, right?
It's been a long process. That's like,
dude, your building gets hit so constantly.
Well, you know what? It's built in the old way where the setback from the street is 5 feet, 6 feet, right? I mean,
it's doomed no matter what. Yeah. Once it gets fixed,
somebody hits a curb, they're on your building, man.
It's probably the 3rd or 4th time in 20 years.
Is it good for you when it gets hit?
What's that?
My building got hit once.
Yeah. Is it good for your insurance agent when it gets hit?
It's not good for your insurance agent. My building got hit. I was like, this is a good business getting hit.
Well, the last time it got hit, the guy had no insurance. He was whacked out on drugs.
Yeah,
he stole his parents' car, and then
Did he get the Euros?
It was wrapped in a Cubs thing.
Yeah. He died right after. It was crazy.
It was a ghost car.
He was
great, John.
Whacked out on drugs and then does a left turn right through the drive-through of Munster Euros.
Really? Oh, that's right. I remember
and they don't have a drive-through.
No, they do not. Right
that was like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And my building got hit.
Yeah.
Cha-ching. My guy was fully insured.
You're lucky.
It was amazing.
Get some facade improvements.
I highly recommend it for anybody out there that owns a building.
Be careful. We don't want people hurt.
Choose your victim. I mean, choose your... carefully, because if they're uninsured, then you're screwed.
Right.
But mine happen to be insured.
I've got to get to court, so you need to wrap it up. Yes. I know. I see that. The judge is going to be. I'll just say,
we'll take over from here, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
We don't need. So anyway, thanks for the mailbag. Don't forget, we do take mailbag, and we do take positive mailbags as well. Teddy Roosevelt statue, Tour de France, Free Britney. It was a good show, and then of course we wrapped up with Speros. Thank you to Rick Baltensberger, Misprint, located right down on Calumet Avenue in Munster. They do all of my printing needs. They really do. City Hammond and my campaign stuff. You guys are
wrapping
amazing.
cars to business cards.
No job is too big or too small. Good to see you,
right.
Rick. Thanks for coming by again. Too big. That was
Stop.
too big.
What a great way.
Something John's never heard.
4 foot.
Oh, Jesus.
Now it's really time to wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks to John Vesmar, the great producer. Did a good job today. We stayed on the air. I mean, I count that as a victory. Good job, John. Jill Gajewski, thank you very much. And thank you for your expertise with the Free Britney movement. We appreciate that. Of course, the caboose. What could we do without a caboose? Without a caboose, we would fall off the tracks.
They don't even exist anymore. Of
course, thanks for listening to Belgium's Top Rated podcast. It's absolutely free of charge. Coming to you live from Munster, Indiana. It's the Locomotive signing off. See you guys on Friday. By the way, Friday, Matt Money Smith.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Matt freaking Money.
Finally.
I believe it when it happens.
He said he was going to delay his surf just to come on.
Matt freaking Money
and
Smith.
I had to be here on Tuesday.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. He's actually going to come on.
So Kevin's famous younger brother.
I don't know if I'm going to show up for that show. It's going to be very anti-Kevin.
Matt and I talked for like a few minutes last night, and I said, we both agree on one thing. He said, what? I said, it's going to be a bad show for Kevin, right? He said, absolutely. So,
boy.
If you want to hear Kevin making fun of Kevin.
It's the teaser for the next episode.
That's right. Friday's
My little brother will be on.
Thanks again for Rick Baltensberger and Misprint for stopping by, and we'll see you guys on Friday with Matt Money Smith. Take care, everybody.